Hey guys, welcome to With Intention. I'm here at Creative Living about to interview Adam Helbling, a resident. He's in a wheelchair, and if you recall, if you watched episode 1, 3 lessons on embracing tragedy, that was all about Adam and the impact he's making on the world. Let's go talk to him.
You don't realize that you have a problem. Everybody around you realizes that you have a problem. Once you reach that breaking point, your mind's so far gone, it's just like, oh my God, what have I done?
I just want to thank you. This is super exciting for me to have you on. It's an honor to have you on. I'm humbled that we're friends and I get to kind of share in your story a little bit. So thanks for being part of this.
I appreciate that. You've been a mentor to me, and I mean, you've helped me through and got the book going and all those different things and
Absolutely.
fundraisers. So
Absolutely.
Our relationship, it's been mutual. So
cool, man. That means a lot to hear. All right, so let's start at the beginning. Tell us kind of before your accident. So let's talk about bipolar and your experiences with that.
Well, it was always wrongly diagnosed.
Okay.
And that's how bipolar usually goes. So 6th grade, depression, lasted probably 3-4 months. Just couldn't snap out of it.
6th grade, all the way back. Okay.
All the way back in 6th grade. Going into college, I would go through periods of depression and then I'd be perfectly fine. Okay. I'm just happiest kid in the world. I was on a full ride scholarship and I was in a scholars program, Mountain Leadership Society. So I was surrounded by really good people, really good influences. So that first year, it really pushed me to do a lot more with my life and get involved and do a lot of things on campus. But going into my 2nd year, I joined a fraternity. So I'm surrounded by people that, haze me, those people that put me through hell.
Okay.
And not unlike those people that first year that really lifted me up and pushed me forward. People were experimenting with marijuana and I had never tried it. So I tried it myself. As soon as I took that first hit, it was like all the anxieties, the fear, the depression, everything just faded away. Next 2 years of school, it's just partying, marijuana, that was my life. And this is where things just really spiral out of control. I applied for 43 credit cards and loans over the course of 2 or 3 months and dug myself in a massive amount of debt. I bought a Segway, I took out a $5,000 loan and bought a Segway. I took a trip out to California. I wandered around like a homeless person for a week and going from city to city, crashing on random strangers' couches, tripping on mushrooms in the redwood forest, talking to trees, all that.
I think this is painting the picture of someone that's bipolar, right? This overspending and this euphoria. I know you talked about.
This is all the signs of a manic phase. These are all the signs.
Okay, keep going.
So I'm just exhibiting them. And from there, it was just like any drug I could find, anything I could put my hands on, I put it into my body. I just didn't care. So
you're just spiraling out of control.
Spiraling out of control. Okay. Acid, cocaine, anything, you name it.
Wow.
I'm tens of thousands of dollars in debt. I've done all these, I've done all these drugs. I haven't been to school in 5 weeks. I told them I had pneumonia. You don't realize that you have a problem. Everybody around you realizes that you have a problem. Once you reach that breaking point and you've just gone so far, your mind's so far gone, it's just like, oh my God, what have I done? And then you gotta put it on yourself to get better. So Sunday, I stayed awake for 6 days straight.
Wow.
So
6 days.
6 days. So I didn't sleep Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday, I write this rambling email confession to my mom. I come clean to her and tell her everything that I had done. And Thursday, she reads it. And after she reads it, she comes straight down to Columbus. Okay. So she takes me over to my cousins and they explain to me Adam, you need to get your life together. We need to, straighten some things out. You need to go home. Drop my classes. I had to call my work, tell them I'm not gonna be working there anymore. My mom's in tears. She thought I was this perfect angel. But after 3.5 days without sleep, you can go into a psychotic state. I'd gone 6 days without sleep. Okay. So now all of a sudden I'm looking at magazines and books and just anything, hearing music, and it was just signs, God was speaking to me. And I'm explaining each sign to them one by one. And they're like, well, what does this all mean? And I told them that I was the second coming of Jesus Christ. Okay. Next morning, I wake up in the psych ward. I get put on medications, and after 2.5 weeks, I get out of there. I go into another program. It was learning to deal with life. Okay. So it was honestly the best education I ever had. And you're meeting with other people that have similar challenges than you, or just different problems they're going through. So people that, you just realize that you're not alone. So that was really valuable to me. But I meet with my psychiatrist, and he explained to me that I had bipolar disorder. It explained.
Is this the first time you heard that?
It's the first time I heard that.
Okay.
My psychiatrist told me stay away from drugs, stay away from alcohol, stay away from marijuana. He's told me that marijuana can lead to psychosis.
Okay.
And even after this 3.5-week program, I go into drug rehab for another 3 weeks. Nothing they could say to me really scared me away from marijuana. Came back to school, and a month later, I'm back to smoking pot. Just like being around it, and it just fell back into it. You know, I was actually doing really well in school, which is surprising. And I was still accomplishing a lot.
I think that's an important point, because bipolar, when you're in this manic state,
Yeah.
A lot of times I think you can perform at a high level in certain tasks, right? It's just very dangerous if you're not aware of what that is and what the ramifications of the flip side.
Yeah. And when you're manic, like full-blown manic, it's almost like your brain is operating at like 100%.
Okay.
It's the best feeling in the world, and that's why a lot of people with bipolar disorder don't want to go on meds, because they're always chasing that like manic high.
Yeah.
They love that.
Makes sense.
They'll skip past they'll suffer through the depression because they're looking for the mania.
Sure.
January 22nd, 2011, I was off my meds for 5 days, and on the 5th day, the signs came back. I was making up an exam, and I'm sitting there going to the bathroom, and in the grout it said like Jesus loves you.
Okay.
And then like throughout the day, it was just like little signs here and there, and they just like intensify. You know, now I'm full blown manic, and I'm at my friend's place, and we're jamming out in the basement. I'm just having like the time of my life. I didn't want the night to end. When you're manic, like I said, it's just like it's the best high you can ever get. I get in my car, 5-inch snow on the ground, negative temperatures, and I just start driving. And I was on 70. I was going on 70 west, no destination in mind.
So you're Ohio heading towards Indiana, right?
Heading towards wherever the road took
you don't know,
me.
Yeah, gotcha.
I don't know where I'm going.
Gotcha.
And there's religious billboards that are speaking to me. There's music speaking to me. I could twist any word around, twist any sign around, and turn it into a sign.
Okay.
And I get into Indiana. I'm going 90 miles an hour, and my car blew a flat tire. I didn't have the wrench to get my tire off. I didn't have a wallet. I didn't have my cell phone. And eventually I just jammed out the music, like, you know, nothing's happening. Just sitting there chilling in my car, and I'm like, all right, let's go. So I got a quarter tank of gas and a flat tire, started flying through these back roads. I get on the highway, and the last thing I remember is I'm going 120, and I look in my rearview mirror, and I see police lights back in the distance. So I open my sunroof, put both hands up in the air, and flick off the police, and then everything goes black. My car went off the road. I flipped 5 times, end over a quarter mile, landed upside down in a field in the snow. I died at the scene. I had 2 collapsed lungs, break my neck at C6 and C7. Paramedics were already on their way. They got there, they brought me back to life. They put in chest tubes, and they life flight me to Indianapolis, and I wake up the next morning in the ICU. Waking up, and that was the scariest moment of my life. You basically feel pinned to a bed. I've got this breathing tube coming out of my mouth. I can't breathe out of my mouth, so I can't speak, I can't ask questions. At the time, I couldn't feel my legs. I couldn't move my legs, and I've got tubes coming out of me everywhere. But the one thing that comforted me is I look over, my whole family is sitting there. One of the things, you know, I couldn't do was speak or ask questions, and I motioned that I wanted to write something. They get a pad and a paper and a pen. I just read hug, and that's all I wanted. I just wanted a hug from my mom. So she comes over and she gives me a hug, and that comforted me, you know, so much, just knowing that, you know, she was there. Once you get home, that's where people with spinal cord injuries, you know, they always hope to go home, but once you get home, you start seeing people, you know, riding bikes, you start seeing people skateboarding. Reality hit me, and it's just like the wheelchair became real. The fact that I most likely would never walk again became real. I was up for my mom's 60th birthday. We were up at Bay Point on Lake Erie, and I remember sitting out on this dock. You know, I vividly remember this. I'm on this dock, and I'm looking out at all these people skiing and tubing on Lake Erie, and I hear them laughing. I see them smiling, and it's just like, life is never going to be like this again. So I'm sitting in a power chair, and I'm thinking, I'm just going to push this joystick forward right now. I'm going to end my life. But thank God, I turn around, and my mom is rushing towards me. She knew exactly what I was thinking. The next day, this was a big turning point for me. It was my mom's, you know, for her birthday, she got these wish lanterns, and they're paper lanterns that you light off, and they float off into the sky. So as they float away, you're supposed to make a wish. So we went to the beach, and we lit them all off. And as each one floated away, I wished that I would walk again. Okay. I asked my mom, you know, what did you wish for? and she wished that I would be happy. And it made me start thinking, it's just like, what can I do to make myself happy?
Okay.
I found out about creative living. You know, it's for people with physical disabilities, and that's where I still live today. That's where we're sitting at today, right outside on this beautiful day. And so I was able to move in there. And a lot of people where I live at Creative Living, you know, have moved on from their injury and have made something of themselves, and you know, they're happy. But there were, you know, a select few that were just bitter and miserable even like 30 years later. It was actually the people that were bitter that rubbed off on me the most, because I told myself, like, I'm not going to be like that. If I'm going to be in a wheelchair, you know, I guess, you know, that is what it is. So I started, you know, just writing and putting all these things out on Facebook, and just talking about my story, my emotions, you know, what I was going through on a daily basis. And people are commenting and messaging, like all these, like hundreds of people are just reaching out to me and just saying that I completely changed their perspective on life, and they wouldn't take the little things in life for granted. Right before I graduated in 2012, I started speaking. You know, I've done maybe 300-400 speeches now to like high schools, and you know, you're speaking to like 2,000 kids at a time. And the best part is afterwards, when they come up to you and they give you hugs, or they want to shake your hand or just talk to you for a second. You know, I make myself very vulnerable in my speeches and what I put out there, and these kids feel like they've never had anybody that they can trust to open up to. That's what people need. They just need somebody there for them that understands, that's been there. This was supposed to happen because this showed me my purpose and showed me what I was actually supposed to do with my life, and you know, share my story and help others in a positive way. I don't think I would have reached this mindset or this point that, you know, I ever got to. I never would have found this kind of happiness before. So if I could go back and change the accident from happening, I wouldn't. I'd let it happen. Powerful. I'd let it happen all over again.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem.
Appreciate the time.
Yep. Thank you.
Thanks so much for watching. I take away a couple things from that. Really, one, that divine intervention that Adam talked about. Maybe whatever situation you're facing, maybe there's a reason for that. Think about that. The second thing is, how do you change your perspective? How do you shift from thinking about yourself, being insular, to thinking about others? I think that's a crucial one. If you can change your mindset to serving others, good things always happen. So again, thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.